I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. The evidence that they have will send Jarvis butts away for life. Salute to the chat. Salute to the replay gang. Salute to my moderators. So I've been backtracking the evidence that they have on Jarvis. I've been backtracking this evidence. So let's just jump straight into the evidence. Now I want to start with Kim Worthy. I want us to start with Kim Worthy and see if it's something that we missed. Let me individually, and then we're going to jump into this demonstration. Give me a second, y'all. Let's see who we got. Salute Thankful. Salute Kenyatta. Salute Tudor. Miss Minnie. Cotan. Cornita, I see you. I hope I pronounce you right. I hope I pronounce your name right. Siracia. Salute Siracia. Yolanda, salute. Let's jump into this, y'all. Let's jump into this.
Of murdered people. When I was trying homicide cases for 6 straight years, and as an assistant prosecutor, I would spend hours thinking about the victim whose case I was getting ready to try, wondering how they spent their last weeks, their last days, their last hours, and their last minutes of their lives. What were they thinking about? Did they know that the end was near? And if it was someone they knew, what must they have been thinking as they were shot, stabbed, or whatever mechanism of death was used and confronted them with by the person they knew or loved? I can't imagine the thought that goes through their minds. But it's always 1,000 times worse when a person is a child or a baby, someone in the dawn of their lives who haven't begun to live their lives. The picture behind me is of Zanaya, and that will always be haunting because it was taken just a short time before the evidence shows that she was never seen or heard from again. It was taken by Nazaya herself, a selfie. That's the last known picture that we know about of her. And it was pointed out to me by one of the detectives on this case and by one of the prosecutors. She is smiling and waving and saying hello. But little did she know that she was really saying goodbye. We will provide to you later a very skeleton timeline of the time right before her death, before and after. Of course, the detail would be provided in court. The evidence shows overwhelmingly in this case that she is in fact deceased. All
right, let's stop right there. Now, according to Kim Worthy, this evidence, the evidence that they have, will, without a shadow of a doubt, will show that Nazaya is deceased. All right. And I know for many still believe that's not good enough. And you'll hear her mention as far as the evidence that they have on Jarvis is concrete, solid, airproof. Because if they don't have concrete evidence on Jarvis, then his defense team will surely be able to pick it apart. Some of us feel like no body, no evidence. But in the state of Michigan, you can be charged with the M if there's no body. But let's listen, y'all. Let's listen. Tudor says that photo of Nazaya haunts me in a way like an eerie feeling. Yes. Salute, Victoria. Abel says, yeah, but do you not remember the judge at the subliminal hearing, at the preliminary hearing, saying all of this is just circumstantial? Correct. And see, this is what leads me to believe one or the other. Either just like the state of Michigan and the Detroit Police Department, the school, Nazaya's family, just like they failed her while she was alive, it makes me wonder, are they going to fail her even in her death? Salute, Capricorn.
Last time she was seen alive was January the 9th of this year, 2024, almost 9 months ago. Her missing status was reported to the Detroit Public School Police Department by her grandmother on that very day, when she never returned home from school. And again, that was January the 9th of 2024. In early February of 2024, the case was turned over to the Detroit Police Department. Frankly, that should have happened right away.
Right. Even Kim knows that. She knows that the case should have been turned over to the Detroit Police Department when it first happened. So notice, they went, you might as well say, a whole month from January the 9th until February before the DPD got this case. Right? It's just so many red flags, you know. First of all, why didn't the grandmother, Miss Annette, why didn't she report it that same day? And why didn't she report it to the Detroit Police Department? Why did she wait until the next day and then report it to the school police? Well, the school police. But even Kim caught that this should have been reported to the Detroit Police Department when it first took place. So a whole month went by.
But they began investigating immediately. The evidence would further show that through text messages that we know and that we have, Zanaya and this defendant were going to meet after school on January the 9th.
All right. And we all know about the text messages, but they had text messages that Nazaya and Jarvis was going to meet after school. And it's, you know, from the testimony of King and the aunt of King's son, they said that Nazaya was with Jarvis. So the timestamp is Nazaya comes home from school. She gets off the bus. She don't come home. She goes past the house, and we all assume, or they want us to believe, that she went straight to the shop. But we know if she didn't go home, how were they able to get her phone? How were they able to get a tablet? Could it have been Jarvis returned it to them? Tudor says, and that whole month went by and Annette slept really comfortable, no urgency or nothing. April says, because Shank, they had to get their story straight and had to have a fallback guy. Correct. Salute, Constance. Correct.
We know that she did indeed meet up with the defendant that we're charging in this case. We also know that several people close to Mr. Butts, who we were charging later, saw them together in several different locations, people that he knew well. We have evidence that at 9:30 p.m. on that day, that Mr. Butts checked into a motel and the Zanaya was never seen or heard from again.
That's what troubles us all. They checked into that motel and Nazaya was never seen again. Thankful says trial is going to be big. Justice for Nazaya. Yes, let me get some purple hearts. Throw up some purple hearts for Nazaya Harris and hashtag justice for Nazaya Harris as well. So 9:30 p.m. Jarvis checked in the hotel with Nazaya. Nazaya has never been seen after that. Where did she go at? What happened to Naziah? So far, the evidence points to Jarvis, last one to be seen with her. And you know my opinion, usually the last one that's seen with the victim is most likely the person that unalived that victim. But now we got to go with Shannon's testimony. Shannon said she was the last one to see Naziah. Now, could it meant that she was the last one to see Naziah that morning before Naziah went to school? Or could it have been she was the last one to see Naziah alive? And I believe that at the trial, I believe that the defense is going to make sure Shannon is clear on exactly what do you mean by you was the last one to see her. Because if she says she was the last one to see her alive, whoop, there it is. Tudor says, why people saying lady saw her the day before? Why didn't Annette and Shannon tell the authorities this as well? Why withhold so much information? And that's a good point. That's a good point because it's alleged that lady was with Naziah, or Naziah and lady were together the previous night, I believe, or maybe that actual evening. Not sure. But does that mean lady unalived Naziah? Does that mean lady knew about the unaliving? That's a question that I want everybody to keep in the front of their mind. Just because lady was with her the night before or that evening, do that necessarily mean lady knows what happened? Salute to the chat. Salute 504. Salute Belinda, Coco, Chin, Shine, the real Karen, love seeing her, Mushy, Time Warp, Craig, Greg. Salute everybody.
Not from her family, not from her schoolmates, not from her friends, not from social media where she was extremely active with her friends, not from teachers, no one.
Now the boyfriend did say, Marquita's boyfriend did say Naziah went home. I believe that Naziah did go home. And the majority of us believe that as well. Naziah went home. I definitely think lady has a part to play somehow. That's why she's so silent as well. I'm not wondering if when she went to go meet lady, if her and lady didn't come up with a plan for her to run away. From there, that's what I'm praying for most of all. I'm praying with you. I'm praying. And even though I don't believe that Naziah is alive, but I'm praying that she is alive. I'm praying that when the evangelist Kenneth spoke on it, I'm praying that he was telling the truth, because even he said that he don't believe that Naziah is deceased. He believed that Naziah outsmarted folks and she ran away. And I'm hoping that's the case also. I'm hoping for a happy ending in this case. King's words, Naziah was on her phone when she was with them. And if they pick up Naziah devices from Annette's house, did they also ping Naziah? And you're right. So King, now here's the thing. Do we believe what King said? Do we believe what Shannon, Annette, do we believe them? Because there was some lying going on. There was some lying going on. But King did say she was on that phone. Could it have been somebody else's phone? We're going to get to this evidence that they have on Jarvis that's going to send him away for life. Salute Tanja. Salute Tanja. Salute Kalila. Jenny. Salute. She definitely went home and changed clothes, and the Looney Tunes jacket Jarvis' sister seen her in is still with her, on her. That's why they never found that jacket. That's facts. That's facts, Victoria. Salute Overthoughts. That's facts. Detroit D says, I don't think Lady played a part in the actual unaliving, but she definitely knows. This is my thing on Lady, and I've said it before. I believe that with Lady chasing drugs, I just believe that that's all Lady's agenda was. I could be wrong. I don't think that Lady played a part in it. Maybe now, I'm sure Lady probably knows what happened or probably figured it out. But I could be wrong. I think Lady was too focused on chasing the high. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I think at this point, everyone is telling on each other. Next hearing is June the 20th. Right. 504 says no. Exactly. Because that's why people saying Lady don't want a memorial until she gets more facts. Lady, take your raggedy, you know what, down there to the cops and tell them what you know. Blessing Shank and all. Alleged Naziah Mark present in school on October the 1st, 24. Alleged George Harris and that report to him, Naziah not come home. He retired next day and wasn't bothered. All right, let's get back to Kim Worthy, y'all.
We know that she had no medical conditions that would cause a life-threatening medical emergency to her. And he, again, was the last person that saw her alive. She would have turned 14 years old just 10 days ago on September the 16th of 2024. And again, no one has seen or heard from her. You look at that face and you do not see the horrors that she had gone through in her short life. The exploitation, the molestations, the sexual abuse, and the pregnancy that she was concealing. The evidence will show that from one of her text messages to and with Jarvis Butts. And we also know the evidence will show that there's no evidence of anyone else being the father of that child other than the defendant himself, who we charged today. And he knew she was pregnant.
Now, didn't in the text messages, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Jarvis and Naziah had this conversation about her being pregnant, and didn't Jarvis make reference to her that he didn't nut in her? Salute, Anna. But according to Kim, salute, April. Vincent, salute. Let me backtrack it, y'all. Let me backtrack it. Miss Mika, salute. I think Naziah is around her grandma's house. Shannon said, April, she been chasing that drug. That's why she didn't have her kids. And one thing that I know about anyone that's chasing a high, that's all on their mind. That's all on their mind. They're not too concerned about nothing else but chasing that high.
We know that he was also searching for ways to abort the baby. We know that sexually explicit photos were requested by him of her and that she complained her. All the hands we let, the man charging with her death and also her long-term sexual abuse. A process that was put together. Excellent. Video of 111 gigabytes. Witnesses and witness statements, body-worn camera, and let me not forget, it was Tina and Matt's memo, but the work of the Detroit Police Department.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And I've always, salute PJ, I've always wondered the same thing, Karen. if they don't have a body, how would they know for sure he's the father? And I believe the only way, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the only way to know exactly who's the father is to do a DNA test. Is it another way? Do any of y'all know of another way of doing a DNA test? You gotta have the body. Now I can understand charging someone with the unaliving of the person without the body, but how can you be for sure? How can you be for sure that Jarvis is the child's father? Was a DNA test already done? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm just trying to get to the meat of this evidence that they got on Jarvis. Belinda says, remember, Nazaria was at the hospital per her conversation with Jarvis. Remember? You're right about that. You're right about that. She said they had 3 DNA samples. Tudor says, unless they saw other messages from people in her phone or tablet and she wasn't texting other men, boys, if she indicated a pregnancy to Jarvis and Jarvis, where you at? Unless she had and Jarvis only. That's the answer. Let me grab this. Abel says it could be from the text messages that their theory that's the father. The city of Detroit haven't posted Nazaria and they aren't looking. They haven't posted anything like we have $1,000 cash award or nothing. They keep saying they have evidence. She's not here. The only way to do that is a body or excessive blood at the scene, which they can probably test for DNA. Salute, Melanie. I see her almost every day, and that's just what she is doing. We talk about the case. She said that she will be in court, but that's her way of coping. Now, Vincent talks with Lady every day. Vincent's talk with Lady every day. And Roxy's mother, Kenya, backed up Vincent. Roxy's mother, Kenya, said that Vincent is solid. He knows Lady. And I mean, she knows Lady, and everything that she says about Lady is true. And when me and Vincent talk, Vincent let me know that the hurt that Lady is feeling behind this. So I do lean towards Vincent to speak up for Lady. But I just know, chasing the drug, that's all on their mind.
Anyway, we reviewed 111 gigabytes of video, witnesses and witness statements, body-worn camera footage, surveillance video, police reports, documents, 19 gigabytes, medical records, search warrant returns, phone extractions, which came to 506 gigabytes. Today, we are charging Jarvis Butts with 1 count of first-degree premeditated murder, 1 count of criminal sexual conduct in the second degree, and 1 count of child sexually abusive material. Today, we are also charging Mr. Butts with more counts of criminal sexual conduct on 2 more girls, yes, girls, on 2 other separate cases. The girls in question now are 20 and 11 respectively today, but both were under the age of 13 years old at the time the offenses occurred that we're charging. We are charging that one victim who is now 20 years old, that from April of 2012 to April of 2014, it's alleged that defendant Buck sexually assaulted the victim at a residence in Detroit.
Now, when it comes to the sexual assaults, I believe that they got him on that. They got the victim, that's 20. She's 20 now. And Jarvis was inappropriate touching her when she was under the age of 13. They got Jarvis's own child, Jarvis's own daughter. So they got, in my opinion, they do have concrete evidence to prove. And Naziah isn't the only one that Jarvis is being charged with. In my opinion, I do believe that Jarvis is going to take a plea. He's going to take a plea for these sex offenses. And I do believe Jarvis going to tell on somebody. Jarvis going to tell on somebody. And I believe we all know who Jarvis going to tell on. Jarvis going to tell on Shannon. Jarvis going to tell on Shannon. And my gut feeling is that Shannon is behind Naziah's disappearance as well as the unaliving of Naziah.
Further facts and evidence on that matter will be placed on the record at the preliminary examination. In that case, we charge Mr. Butts with criminal sexual conduct, 1 count in the first degree, person under 13, defendant 17 or older. In that case, we are also charging Mr. Butts with 3 counts of criminal sexual conduct in the second degree, person under 13, defendant 17 years or older.
See, they got him on the sex offenses, in my opinion. They got him on the sex offenses. They got the victims. The victims is going to testify. So how are you planning on getting out of that? So my opinion, they definitely got him on the sex offenses.
In the second criminal sexual conduct case, well, I guess the third that we're charging today, we are alleging that the victim, who is now 13 years old, that from July 2015 through July 2017, we're alleging that he sexually assaulted the victim at a residence in Detroit. And again, further facts and evidence will be developed at the preliminary examination. Defendant Butts have been charged with, in that case, 1 count of criminal sexual conduct in the second degree. Child under the age of 13, Mr. Butts over the age of 17. Based on all the evidence that I've laid out now and much more that will be shown later in court, based on all these cases we will present in court, Mr. Butts targeted and befriended women who had to have sexual relationships with their young daughters. He would have relationships with their mothers, but his true desire was to have sex with their young daughters. That's what the evidence will show. He was a classic and expert groomer and pedophile. It's incredibly sad, incredibly unspeakable, and we want to bring justice to her and her family. I have to take this moment to say something to you. And this is not directed at all at Naziah's family, who by all accounts had many in her family that truly loved her. This is directed to everyone else listening to me now. We must be very careful who we let into our hearts and our homes and our lives.
I got a problem with that. I mean, and if we're going to call a spade, why take the accountability off of the family, Kim Worthy? Because in my opinion, the family is the ones that let Naziah down first. The family is the biggest ones that dropped the ball. So why not hold the family accountable as well as everybody else? And this right here, not holding the family accountable, this is why Naziah Harris faced everything that she went through. There was no accountability held on the family part.
Especially if you have children. We must be very careful who we have around our children and elders respectively. We must also be very careful who we leave our children with, even if they are in a relationship partners, family, and friend. I'll say that again, even if they're relationship partners, families, or friends.
That should be towards the family, Kim. And I know some of y'all got confidence in Kim. Some of y'all believe in Kim and all that. I don't. I got to be honest with y'all. I don't. I think Kim is sketchy. I think she's sketchy. Because what she just read, that was for the family. You should have said that to the family. And in so many words, you was talking to the family. You just try to dress it up by saying it's not for the family, but you was talking to the family because, you know, you let it be known that the family should be careful on who they let around their loved ones and whom they let the loved ones go off with. That's for the family, Kim. She's sketchy, y'all. I'm telling y'all, she's sketchy. I got to call a spade a spade. Salute Jay Stilo. I got to call a spade, y'all. I ain't feeling Kim, in other words. I'm not feeling Kim worthy at all.
Life can be hard enough at times, but when it comes to our children, we must be deliberative, we must be diligent, and laser focused on their safety. And sometimes we must make decisions about them and their lives that we may not like and that they may not like, but it's for the betterment of them and their safety and their future. When something doesn't feel right, even if it's just that voice in your head, it usually isn't right. And sometimes when we are attentive and we do everything right by our children, things can still happen and still go very wrong despite our best efforts. This can happen to good watchers of children. But we must always ask ourselves at the end of each and every day, was I right by each member of my household in terms of their safety? Did I do right by my children? Now, of course, Mr. Butts is presumed innocent unless and until he's found guilty on each and every crime and count that we have charged today. We have been told this morning that the arraignment will be tomorrow, we think at 10:30 a.m. in the morning, but we don't have confirmation of that yet. But the arraignment, we are told, will happen tomorrow morning. Thank you very much. Chief? I'll switch boxes with you.
Good morning. This is one of the most difficult cases that I have been a part of, and I'm just so very thankful to the detectives and the investigators in homicide. The tragedies that happened to this little girl touches each and every one of us, and unfortunately, she lost her life at the hands of someone who should have been concerned about her safety. I just want to take a couple moments and thank Madam Prosecutor and her team for the amazing work, the commitment, the hours that they put into this work. I want to thank our major crimes, missing persons, homicide, specifically Sergeant Jones and Lieutenant Amber Roberson. When I tell you the days and hours and the tenacity that they put into this work, it's not often that I'm not surprised by our officers, but when I saw the work and the hours and the time that they put in there, I was absolutely in awe at my weekly briefings and the time that they put into this case. It is not an 8-hour-a-day job. It is it ends when they have to get a couple hours of sleep. And I will tell you, with all the other things going on, this case was always top of mind. Certainly want to thank DPS for their assistance in transferring over some of the information that we were able to get from them with this case. There were a number of people, our community in particular, even our Border Police Commissioner, Tamara Liberty Smith, who was out knocking on doors and passing out flyers, all with the desire to bring this little girl home to her family. Quickly, as the investigation unfolded, the officers realized that was going to be very difficult. Without going into great detail, I will tell you, as the prosecutors indicated, hours and hours and many gigabytes of information and phone records and knocking on doors and pulling video went into this investigation. And sadly, we find ourselves where we are now. But if there's any solace in any of this, is that we take a lesson from this. We make strong and good decisions for our children, keep them out of harm's way. We are not pointing out anything that someone did wrong. We just want to make sure people do a lot more things right. And again, Madam Prosecutor, thank you and your team for the work.
I get it, but why sugarcoat it? And I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I get it, but why sugarcoat it? You know, instead of you holding the family accountable, you sugarcoating it for them. Why not just come straight forward with it? But, and I will say, well, you know what? Maybe they don't want the family to know that they're on to them. Strong possibility. Salute, Pookie Poo. Strong possibility, because this is BS. This is BS.
All right, the chief and I will take a few questions, if you have any.
I have one. How did Jarvis Butts have access to Messiah?
He knew some of
How did Jarvis have access to Nazar? Let's backtrack this. How did Jarvis have access to Nazar? That tells it all right there. Stein says, Shank, honestly, what she said was Nazaya has some family that truly loved her. She didn't say all. Okay, I'll take that, Stein. I'll take that.
chief and I will take a few questions, if you have any.
I have one. How did Jarvis Butts have access to Messiah?
He knew some of their family members, some of her family members.
Can you talk about the time frame when you mentioned grooming? Are you able to elaborate at all over how long of a period of time he may have quote unquote groomed or knew her? Or
All I can and will say at this point that it started in 2022.
So just for accuracy, this little girl's remains have never been found?
No.
Is there a thought?
Her body has never been found.
Any thought of where she maybe?
Well, if we knew that, we would certainly have a case that we were trying without a body.
We asked this, can you say what triggered charges now?
Again, there's an incredible amount of material. And one of the reasons why lately I've been giving out amounts of material that we've been going through, because I think people sometimes just do not get it or understand about all the work that it takes by the investigators and by the prosecutors to put a case like this together. Whenever you have a case like this, where there has been no body found, it makes it more difficult and much more investigation must be done because we have to be able to prove that the person is deceased.
are you able to say?
Well, and y'all gonna have to help me out with this. Well, how can they prove that Nazaya is deceased? Talk to me, chat. What are y'all thoughts? Annie says Kim is always going to protect herself and her job. Believe that. If they don't have Nazaya's body, what concrete proof? What's the concrete proof? Is it the hoodie that was found with the blood on it and the holes? Do you think that that's enough evidence? A voice of reason says amount of blood found. Insurance company need confirmation of a body to pay out. Salute niche. Salute niche. Belinda Kim is also over the London Thomas case here in Michigan as well. At the preliminary hearing, it was something about the blood and it showed some type of struggle. Things in those phones. All right, I'll take that. Maybe they're just holding on. Okay, I'll take that. Because they never heard another word from her after January 9th. DNA must be on the clothing and sneakers. All the blood on the hoodie. Salute unavailable. Agreed. You're absolutely right. The police department tells them they're stalling. The phones. I want to know how they know who the baby father was. I'm with you on that, the real Kern. I wish someone would have asked if you have no body, why we can't keep looking for her. People talk too much, especially in texts and videos. People send, they think they talking in code. That's true, Annie. That's true. Shannon and Jarvis never mentioned Nazaya after she went missing. What was that? Tell them the truth. Her aunt has 5 kids with him, allegedly. In 2022, there were allegations against Jarvis about him touching Nazaya. yet and still Shannon didn't care enough to leave him and get him jailed. Instead, she laid on her back and had another baby. That's facts, Tudor. That's facts. I think they had some kind of footage. That's probably the evidence. I'm thinking that too, DD. They got some footage. That's what I'm thinking. They know something that they are not saying, but they know more about what, where, when, and how. I agree with Jenny. I agree with Detroit, DD and Jenny. I agree. Nobody but she was pregnant, and who the father was, I don't get it. I don't get that either. There's still some things I don't get. They have more evidence than what was said in the preliminary. I believe that. If they had blood, they have DNA. Salute Almighty Streams. Salute Gina. I believe that, y'all. Y'all hit my like button. We got 314 watching with only 103 likes. Hit my like button. Get my likes up. Why no one just say where she is, period? Unalive or unalive. That's what I want. I just want them to just look. We found her here. We found her there. It's a possibility that, she was here, there, but maybe that's what they're keeping for the trial. Salute John Tate. Can I get everybody to throw up them purple hearts? Throw up some purple hearts. Salute Lisa. Shank, you on a roll today. I can't keep up. Now I was up waiting for Miss Parker at 11. Love the teamwork. Miss Parker is under the weather. For all of Miss Parker's riders and everyone that is looking for Miss Parker is under the weather. She's not feeling too well. She says she love you all and she'll see you all soon.
How long this suspect was on your radar, or when you really started locking in on him?
No, by law, I can't really comment on that because that would leave me in a place where I can't talk about it right now.
Could
I'll
things
take
have maybe moved forward a little faster if the school police had got with Detroit police right away?
Yes.
Can you talk a little more about?
No, I better not.
I'll take
I have strong opinions there.
I'll take that.
You added to that the evidence, however, suggests that Nazai Harris is dead, correct?
We are going to be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that she's dead, as we must do by law.
That's where I'm at. Now, she said by law, they got to be able to prove that she's no longer alive. Now, I will, have patience, and I will say, okay, let's wait for the actual trial. Maybe at this next hearing in June, maybe they will be releasing some more information as well as evidence. But I'll wait for this trial because, like I said, they're gonna have to be able to prove this. If not, the defense is going to have a field day. Many believe that the state of Michigan knows that Naziah is alive, and they're only keeping her alive to be a witness. To me, that's not so. That's not so. The defense, Jarvis defense team, will eat the case alive. You knew that Naziah was alive, but you still went through with the charges of the M that the defense team will eat it alive. Tanika says, oh my God, look at her face. Right. Yeah, Shannon, we're going to have to go through the whole summer. Yolanda says the fact Naziah was talking to Jarvis about the baby leads me to believe it's his and no one else's. But remember, Yolanda, and remember everybody, when she was asking him about the baby, remember, Jarvis said, I ain't nutting you. Y'all remember that? Shank, can we get into the Kimani Latif case? Sure. Give me a few more minutes after we finish up with Kim Worthy, we'll jump into the Kimani Lateef case. Did y'all see Donnell in court smiling? Drop a 1 if y'all saw Donnell in court smiling with his attorney. I don't know where these people, I don't know the nerve of these people. Like, yo, do you know how serious this case is? You sitting in court smiling, laughing. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm too dramatic. Maybe I need to tone it down. Maybe I need to get out of my feelings. I don't know. I just don't know what's up with these people.
You can't say what, why.
I because no one's seen her, no friends, no family, no teachers, no medical conditions. Even on her birthday, 10 days ago, she contacted no one. This was a child that never missed school, but the school hasn't seen or heard from at all again. This is a young girl who was very active on social media, and crickets, nothing, since January the 9th of 2024.
Anything from the defendant?
And we have other things too that will come out in court.
Any cooperation at all or utterances, statements from the defendant?
I can't get into that.
Without being able to speak in detail, I'm sure, do you have any evidence to indicate manner and location of death or where this might have occurred?
No, because we can't do that unless we have a body.
Mr. Butts is currently facing charges being prosecuted by your office. Can you talk additional charges before these? Can you talk about those at all?
He is, and we next appear in court on Monday, January 30th.
Have there been any other arrests made in this case?
I don't think so.
We just saw an unfounded rumor that there were family members arrested. Didn't know if you could squash that or confirm that.
It's an unfounded rumor. It's not true.
So we're going to stay right there. Appreciate that super chat, Chen. Appreciate that super chat, Chen. Justice for Naziah, praying we get answers. Now they asked her, will anybody else be getting arrested? According to Kim, nobody else is going to be getting arrested, only Jarvis. Now, I'm new to Kim Worthy. So I'm going to take the advice from those that pretty much know Kim Worthy. But I got to say it again, y'all. She just rubs me the wrong way. She does. When is this press conference? I believe it's June. Is it July or is it June? I believe it's June the 15th. I believe this next conference is June the 15th of this year, or even June the 20th. But I know it's in June. And then the actual trial is in October. Okay, so it's June. The next conference is June. But she was speaking on that that calendar conference back in January. And that's when we found out about the 40 new witnesses that the state have and the 10 witnesses that the defense had. She did say nobody else will be getting arrested, which further leads me to believe that something ain't right. Because if Annette and Shannon don't at least get a perjury charge, they lied on the stand.
Do you have an idea of how long Naziah may have been being molested?
Again, the sexual abuse began based on the evidence that we have in 2022. Or at least the grooming began in 2022.
Are you able to say how far along?
Let me backtrack it.
members arrested and nothing was squashed out or confirmed that?
It's an unfounded rumor. It's not true.
Thank you.
Let me backtrack.
It's appear in court on Monday, January 30th.
Have there been any other arrests made in this case?
I don't think so.
We just saw an unfounded rumor that there were family members arrested and nothing was squashed out or confirmed that.
It's an unfounded rumor. It's not true.
Thank you.
Do you have an idea of how long Isaiah may have been being molested?
Again, the sexual abuse began based on the evidence that we have in 2022. Or at least the grooming began in 2022.
Are you able to say how far along she was on her pregnancy?
We don't know because we don't have a body.
I have a question for Chief White just about missing children sort of broadly. When these types of cases happen, obviously we get the reports all the time of missing children. Can you talk about what you think didn't work in this case? You know, in terms of like maybe the seriousness that was considered when she first went missing, in terms of the PTSD, CD versus something like that. So you guys.
I would much rather have had the case earlier. I don't know if the outcome would have been any different based on some of the things we've learned in the course of the investigation, but we may have had an opportunity to recover even more evidence. But we're pretty confident that the evidence that we have is strong. We know it is, as in fact, but you can never have enough evidence. So if there's anything that could have gone a little bit better with regards to the first time that we were brought in, I would have wanted to be brought in much earlier for that reason.
Just some background on Jarvis Butts. What's his age and is he from Detroit?
He's 41 years old from Highland Park, I believe.
Yep.
And Chief, as soon as you guys got word of this, you guys were out immediately, right? I think you were even out searching. You guys set up a command post.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, we took over the case after we didn't look back.
Can you talk about, Chief White, or maybe Mr. Jones, the Isaiah's case and connection to the other missing young people, girls, children, like what your workload looks like, how you balance those cases and are able to, the numbers of youth that are missing right now?
Yeah, well, we make that public. We put it on our social media pages. There's a number of misinformation, misconceptions about missings. Oftentimes what we have is kids that run away for a day or two. They have a way of investigating these cases. They know the ones that routine runaways, if you will. They still look, they still go out, but there's ways to do it, going to the school, social media with kids. It's a big benefit to us for our investigations. And they also know when they become serious missings. All missings are serious, but internally there's a title that has been elevated to a serious missing, and that involves a lot more work and connection with the family. Each time we get a call, we go out to the home. Regardless of whether or not it's a person who has run away or a routine runaway or serious missing. We check the home. We have found kids in the home hiding. So it's really complex and would take its own news conference to explain it. I will tell you this, they do a very good job. We've got thousands of kids this year that have been returned home. Many of which were runaways, so we don't have a condition where kids are being picked up on the street and kidnapped. We did have an incident a couple of years ago where that happened, and the prosecutor charged that person. In fact, they were just recently convicted. So it's a lot that goes into it. We'd be more than happy to sit down and explain our process with you if you want to do something on an aside.
Chief, assuming then, inferring that investigators knew early on this was not a runaway case, or just if you can share some details of the fact that I'm assuming you knew pretty quickly this was not what she did as far as running and there was some foul play involved. And if you can address the complexities that the prosecutor alluded to of not having a body and how you build a case around that.
Well, the prosecutor builds cases. We bring evidence to the prosecutor. We bring our investigation, and she makes the charging decision. So I don't want to get into that lane because it's not mine. I'll tell you, as I said earlier, and the prosecutors alluded to a lot, and there's a lot in the press release as to what goes into it. These folks looking at hours and hours of video evidence, and as the prosecutor indicated earlier, I don't think people recognize in this new age of modern technology what that has done to investigative process. The days of old school investigations some of that stuff still is valid and important. You got to get out on the street, knock on doors, and talk to people. But what the digital world has brought us is new opportunities to find additional information and the cadence in which people communicate, right? Every one of us have these things in our pocket called cell phones that we use for everything. And if people go dark, and they've never been dark, and particularly kids, they show their food, they show their school, they take selfies, and when that stops, that elevates your concern as to why did it stop. So it's a very complex process. These are the experts. I'm just a chief. But, again, we can sit down and talk to you about it in great detail, but a lot goes into it. And when you're talking about 111 gigabytes of information and text messages and dumping phones and literally going through methodically each one of the pages and the text messages and the communication as to when they stopped and the last word said that should have prompted a response. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I can't get into that. All those things elevate your curiosity and brings you into other areas. So it takes a lot more time, but when you get it all right and you pull all the things together, you become as confident as we are now with this case. And we're very, very, very happy that this predator, this child predator, will not be able to hurt any more children and frankly, any more women, because we know that the women were a pathway to the children. That's that period. And I'm going to stop there before I get in trouble with prosecutor. All right.
506 gigabytes just from the cell phones.
Are there any other people that are close to her family that may be charged or not?
This investigation's over, and we have charged the one and single person that's responsible for not only her death, the evidence show, but also for the sexual assaults that we have charged today.
And what are his?
So she just said the investigation is over. They got who they gonna charge for her death as well as the sex offenses, and that's Jarvis. Let me backtrack it.
Way to the children. That's that period. And I'm going to stop there before I get in trouble with prosecutor. All right.
506 gigabytes just from the cell phones.
Are there any other people that are close to her family that may be charged or not?
This investigation's over, and we have charged the one and single person that's responsible for not only her death, the evidence show, but also for the sexual assaults that we have charged today. Oh, I definitely can't go there. I'll lose my law license.
Chief, some of Nazire's relatives said they previously had talked to CPS about allegations of sexual abuse both of Nazire and other kids. Did that ever make it to your office? Is it something that police have investigated before?
Yeah, let me just say this, that if anyone that is watching this press conference right now or reads any of the coverage that I'm sure that you will give this, has any reason to believe that they were a victim of his or that they know something else, we certainly welcome them to contact the Detroit Police Department.
So you can't say if there were any previous reports on that?
No.
Has Mr. Butts made any admissions at all?
We can't talk about that.
Thank you.
They keeping a close-knit case. I do believe that Jarvis is definitely going to talk. I'm going to take some comments, and then we're going to move on to the latest in the Kimani Lateef case. Donnell was in court smiling away with his attorney. Tanika says there is way more folks that need to go down with him. He need to be on his mini brownish. I'm taking them with me. Yeah, and we all know that Jarvis shouldn't be the only one. Honey says she must be one of them the way she act. If she is unalive, so is the fetus. And most of those pregnancies have been confirmed from doctors' offices. When she checked Jarvis, she knew. I don't like her attitude. It's like she gave up when she got information on Jarvis and thought that was it. No, ma'am. I don't like her attitude either, Karen. I don't. How she just act like nobody else was complicit, shaking my head. That's where I'm at with it, honey. There is no paper trail of her pregnancy. That's another good point. Charged with her death, maybe charges for other than her death may happen also. they could be sued if they are not careful. That's why they moving to get him off the streets indefinitely. I believe that. I believe that. There's way more folks that need to go down with him, need to be on his Nino Brown-ish. June 20th, next hearing. October 6th, jury pick. 3 weeks later, trial starts here in Michigan. She still didn't say they won't be arresting any family members. She wouldn't dare let the fam know they might be suspects. That's a good point. That's a good point. Let me pull up the latest update with the Kimani Lateef. Let me pull up Goofy Darnell in court, smiling away. Give me a minute, y'all. I don't know if this is it or not. Let me see. Let me see, y'all. There it is right there, but let me. Let me see if I can grab it right here.
Let me see if I can be a little more precise.
That ain't it. That's not what I want. Let me see. Let me see if I can get him, y'all. Hold up. Let me see.
Are as disturbing as those allegations are, he looked laid back. Sometimes he did wince in pain, but in other moments, he even smiled when talking to his court-appointed defense attorney. The judge read Jones all 15 charges against him, and then his attorney entered his plea.
And you'll see in count 9, that's the third kidnapping charge, alleging that you did by force, threat, or deception remove Imani Lateef from the place where she was found or restrained her liberty for the purpose of terrorizing or inflicting serious physical harm on Imani Lateef or another violation of the revised code. Also kidnapping a felon to the first degree with the same two specifications as the other two kidnapping charges. When we get down to count 10, it's now aggravated burglary, a felony of the first degree. Now that alleges that you did, by force, stealth, or deception, trespass in an occupied structure or in a separately secured or separately occupied portion of an occupied structure when Kimani Lateef, a person other than the accomplice, was present with the purpose to commit in the structure.
This ain't what I want, y'all. Give me a minute. I want to show him smiling. Let me see.
And I'll be a little more precise. Okay. So, with respect to count one, Judge, to the charge of aggravated murder on behalf of Mr. Jones, we offer a plea of not guilty.
This is a story for obvious reasons.
Hold up, y'all. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. But yeah, this fool got a nerve to be in court smiling. Give me a minute while I find it, y'all. I'm going to find it.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. Meteor.
Give me a minute. Yeah, I can't find it. Hold tight, y'all. Hold tight. Let me read some more comments while I find it, y'all. Salute Side TV, salute. Capricorn says true. Simply Arca says, I don't get it. I don't get into the back and forth of what the family says. I'm more interested in the court fact finding. I'm with you on that. Thankful says this is an old interview. Let me find this thing, y'all. Let me run this arraignment, y'all. Shit is aggravating, y'all. Because I want to find where he's smiling. Let me see.
I want to go over them generally. Your attorneys later to answer any questions you may have about it. Sorry. You have the right to counsel. We talked about that already. It has been appointed for you. You are presumed to be not guilty of the charges and specifications brought against you. You have a right to a trial by a jury of 12 persons who.
If I can't get it on this, y'all, I'm going to have to do another one. But it is footage of him smiling in court. I'm going to try it one more time, y'all. If this don't get it, then we'll have to cover it tomorrow. Let me run this, y'all.
This is not emergency. Yes, I'd like to make a police report. Okay, what's that?
Elm Street,
Okay, what kind of report?
a missing person.
Okay, what's your name?
Mine or hers?
Yours?
Dorothy.
Okay, and who's
Let's see.
missing?
Kimani.
Is this your daughter or son?
This is my granddaughter.
Okay, do you have custody?
I do.
Okay, how old is she?
13.
How long ago she's been missing?
Well, to the best of my understanding, she's just been missing this morning.
What's wrong with this grandmother? What's wrong with this big mama right here? I mean, what's wrong with these folks? Somebody help me understand. What is wrong with this big mama? Let's backtrack it, y'all. Just everything about her. It's just so cold.
You're on dispatch, not emergency.
Yes, I'd like to make a police report.
Okay, what's that address?
Elm Street,
Okay, what kind of report?
a missing person.
Okay, what's your name?
Mine or hers?
Yours?
Dorothy.
Okay, and who's
Let's see.
missing?
Kimani.
Is this your daughter or son?
This is my granddaughter.
Okay, do you have custody?
I do.
Okay, how old is she?
13.
How long ago she's been missing?
Well, to the best of my understanding, she's just been missing this morning. I called her school and went up to her school, and they said she's not there.
What school does she go to?
Spring.
Do you remember, did you see what she was wearing before she left?
No, she's usually going to school before I get home from work.
Okay. Is
She just don't
she
care.
like white or Hispanic?
She's black. She looks Hispanic.
Okay, and then what was her last name?
Let's see.
Your phone number?
419.
Okay, does she have a phone on her that you're aware of?
She does, and it's dead because it's going straight to voicemail.
This big mama just don't care. Period. What's up, popcorn? Why is she saying it like that? Real nonchalant. She's worse than Annette. This is horrible. Yes, and voice of reason. It sounds like if she would say, to the best of my knowledge, the cat ran down the basement steps. Everything she says is so out of place. I mean, everything. Everything that this big mama says is just out of place. She just has a monotone voice. I actually feel so bad for the kids. I have an 18 and 6-year-old daughter. I am always watching my nieces. The tone is out of place for the circumstances with the best of my knowledge. Exactly. Good night, Simply Erica. It's just the circumstances. You always got to look at the circumstances. And this is one of them circumstances where everything about this big mama is off. I mean, everything is off. Just look at her demeanor. Look at the aura. Look at the energy. You just look. That's cold. You looking at the face of a cold-hearted person. That's what you're looking at. The face of a cold-hearted person. Shank, the court video. Donnell Smiles, 4 minutes and 25 seconds. Let me see if I could go and grab that, y'all. Appreciate that. Let me see if I can grab that.
I don't want to get too much into your personal medical records, but the reason I'm asking you this is, again, I want to make sure, and I'm sure your attorneys want to make sure you're understanding what I'm asking you. That's the only reason I'm asking you right now, is to make sure that if you have any kind of medical condition, physical condition, handicap, it doesn't impair you from answering my questions and understanding what I'm talking about. Okay?
No, that ain't it.
Went to a doctor's order. Okay, you're taking them according to the.
That ain't it. Not unless it's this one.
Darnell Jones Ogletree pleaded not guilty to killing his 13-year-old daughter, Kimani Lateef, this week. But our 11 Investigates team is learning much more about the police investigation into her death. Lead investigator Brian Duggar joins us in the studio. Brian, you have some interesting records.
Yeah, we obtained 11 different warrants this morning, and they show that detectives immediately zeroed in on not only Darnell Jones, but also his cousin, Caleb Jones Dixon. So the men told police they went to Kimani's house after she called to say she was scared. Police said they were seen on a surveillance video at the house. And Darnell Jones said they stayed until 12:30 in the morning. Then he was dropped off at home by James Jones Dixon, but police were suspicious of these stories. And during searches last month, a plastic car mat, boots, clothing, phones, a gun, a knife, hatchet, a security system, and other items were taken from the men's homes. In addition, a red spot was swabbed for DNA in Jones Dixon's home, and his roadie account was seized to check GPS data. Now, phone records were also obtained for the phone of Linda Ogletree, the mother of Darnell. And records indicate police believe she talked to him in a recorded call in the days after the disappearance. However, she told police she had not talked to him and knew nothing about the case.
Wow.
Now, at this point, Darnell Jones is the only person charged in this case, but these filings indicate police are also looking at other possibilities. Now, a phone number we had for Jones Dixon was not in service, but if he wants to reach me to discuss this story, he can contact me at 11investigates@WTUL.com.
So not only do they got Darnell, they got the mother, the cousin, Shank, another girl in Dorothy custody. They say she fell down a hole. They recovered the body with bruises, but couldn't prove it wasn't from the fall. Good night, Bella. Good night, Belinda. Because she's a check collector. They use kids as a form of income. I just can't hear no more of that 911 call like she ordering food. She make my you-know-what itch, Demon Dorothy. Yeah. I feel like even if she is innocent and had nothing to do with it, she still feels guilty enough to come off guilty. Yeah. She ain't care. She didn't care. We done seen all of this.
John, thanks. We began with the community's opportunity today to say goodbye. 13-year-old Kimani Lateef missing last month, only for police to find her body days later in an abandoned, burned-out East Toledo house. Her father is accused of her murder and is currently in jail in Columbus. He was shot during an arrest, but today was about the opportunity for the community to pay its respects. And tonight, we have team coverage. Steve Iwanek had a chance to talk to a number of people who took time out of their day to be there. And Andre Norrells, he talked to one Toledo City Council member and a couple of community members about how we move forward from this tragedy. But tonight, we begin our team coverage with Steve. Steve, understandably, again today, a lot of emotion for this little girl.
Yeah, Jeff, the community members that I spoke to all shared the same thought. Kimani's life ended too soon. And amidst the frustration and the heartache, many were grateful that they had a chance to say goodbye.
I didn't know her personally, but I know that she was a very special little girl.
You didn't have to know her to love her. That was a shared feeling at Friday night celebration of life for Kimani Lateef.
I think it's really beautiful what the community has done for this little girl.
We watched it play out over the last several weeks as hundreds showered the house where her body was found with flowers and balloons. Claudia Godi and Andrea Cavazos didn't know Kimani either, but knew they had to be here at the West Toledo YMCA, hosting a public memorial for hundreds to say goodbye.
I'm 30 years old. I think this probably has to be one out of maybe the many times I can count on my hands of a horrific thing happening in our community that's brought the entire community together.
As guests went inside, a table to leave a card. And from there, Kimani's casket took center stage inside a large auditorium, surrounded by flowers. Her name adorned in lights, reminding the public why they were here.
If you a true Christian like I am, you let God take care of it all. God will take care of it all.
Siobhan Glover knows what it's like to lose a child. Her daughter died of a drug overdose last year and says grief doesn't need permission, but it does need space.
Because it's going to leave nothing but pain in your heart for the rest of your life. And it has to be that type of way to get this problem solved.
And heartbreak has no age.
When I see her, when she died, I couldn't believe it.
13-year-old Alonze Richardson was one of Kimani's former classmates. When he remembers her, it's not just the tragedy, but also the smile and her spirit.
Let's see what the chat's saying, y'all. Where was Caleb when the Miami street house got set on fire? Salute, Tracy. Shannon says, the system does not care about brown skin, brown-eyed children. I know this firsthand. So sad the way this code suffered. Salute Brit baby. Salute Brit B. Salute Brit B. So why didn't Donnell call Dorothy to let her know Kimani was scared, and why Dorothy wasn't mad that he didn't call her? She is in on it. It's just, you know, the energy that Dorothy gives off. You know? And I don't know no father that's going to go to a house or apartment or wherever it is that their daughter stay, and their daughter is scared. That father is going to stay there with that daughter all night, or that father going to say, come on, get your belongings and come go with me. I knew from the jump that Donnell was suspect. I knew from the jump something up with him, something wrong, something. His story just don't match. It don't match. The biological mom got locked up. I thought she cared about her.
She was a good person, and like everybody wanted to get to know her, and she like played basketball, and she loved boxing.
Now, in light of her death, many questions questions have been raised surrounding the circumstances about Kimani's death. So that brings up the question, what happens from here? And Andre, I know you talked to a lot of community members as well tonight. So what do they want to see moving forward out of this case?
Well, Steve, there's been a lot of talk with city, county, and state politicians about this case and calls for action from the community. I want to speak with any elected official who came tonight and ask them, what's next?
This has really been bothering me since I had found out about it.
Michelle Smith isn't alone. Many people are grieving and searching for answers.
The poor child reached out to people at her school, and for CSB to fail her, it's just sad. It really is.
WTO11 has spoken with several people who say there were concerns about abuse in Kimani's home. Following her death, a task force has been formed to investigate Lucas County Children's Services.
It should not have happened, and we need to find out why.
That's Toledo City Councilman George Sarantu. He's been vocal at council meetings, demanding answers from Children's Services.
We have to get to the bottom of this. So I'm here today to pay my respects and eagerly await the results of an investigation and hope that it is thorough and truthful.
During a news conference earlier this week, Lucas County Children's Services Executive Director Randy Muth defended its system of checks and balances.
We have no record of any call from a mandated reporter or community member for an entire year prior to her murder. We have no record of anyone from Toledo Public Schools ever calling us with respect to Kimani. We have no record of anyone calling us ever with concerns about Darnell Jones.
Sarantu was the only elected official we saw during the 3-hour walkthrough ceremony. However, a letter from Councilwoman Sosandra McPherson was displayed. She too has spoken out, specifically when it comes to demolishing abandoned properties in Toledo. Sarantu says both city and county leaders will need to act, depending on what the investigation reveals.
We need to make changes in our laws and procedures and regulations. So be it.
He says this case won't get swept under the rug.
I'm not.
And I hope and I pray that it don't get swept under the rug. Kenyatta says, dumb Dorothy doesn't show London grandmother energy. Not at all. Not at all. London Thomas grandmother, that's a big mama for you. Why didn't Kimani call Dorothy when she was scared? I heard that also. Shank, I believe he offered Kimani to settle a drug debt. Then he took her to their house after that. I don't even think he SA'd her. He allowed other men to do it, though. I believe it was some kind of debt. I believe that too, Shannon. Wow. I wonder why she wasn't in court. That explains it. Can anyone tell me why the grandma took her back to Dorothy? Not sure. I hope Dorothy don't get no more food stamps ever. If y'all would like to purchase a membership to the platform, please click on the $ symbol. That's what I want to know. And where is she? I wondered that too. Why Kimani didn't call Dorothy? Was it Darnell DNA? This guy makes me sick with his excuses. If two people called for the same bruises they saw on her, it was likely pretty serious and she just blew it off. Wait, what Kimani mother in custody? The thing of it is the same way like in the Nazaria Harris case. They just don't take these cases serious. As long as there's running water, as long as the lights is on, as long as there's food in the refrigerator, as long as there's a bed in the room for the child to stay in, that's pretty much all they care about, the basics. When these reports come in, when they get these reports, they be just BSing with the reports. Like I said, they come out. Sometimes it's weeks before they come out. They don't do a thorough investigation. And in these cases, you have to do a thorough investigation. She probably never called to say she was scared. He just made that up, trying to explain why he had been there. I think that also, Almighty Strings. I think he just made that up. I don't think she called. I think he just made that up. At this point, it feels like Grandma wanted the benefits and didn't care about Kimani. Her failure first came from her mother. If she could have more kids, she could have gotten her child back. That's facts. I agree with you. I agree with you. Mm. I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. I'm tired of these children not being protected. Throw up some pink hearts for Kimani. Can I get everybody to throw up some pink hearts for Kimani? Yes, because Kimani not here no more. So yes, that's why Donnell said she called him because she was scared. Shannon says it's exhausting. It really is. It drains you. Them workers need to be trained better. Like, you know, when you see a phony person, them parents put on a show for them workers. That's fact, Shannon. I agree with you, Shannon. The biological mother didn't care enough. Not at all, Capricorn. I mean, not at all, Shannon. Not at all. And maybe they don't be thinking, maybe these mothers and these big mothers, maybe they don't be thinking that somebody can take their child life or their grandchild life, you know, or just they just don't care. Like I said, with dumb Dorothy, even when I look at Annette, I see pain. I see hurt. But when I look at dumb Dorothy, I just see cold. I just see nothing but cold. Like cold to the bone. It was pretty bold of him to get up there and act like they were being lied on. At least CPS in Detroit admitted they dropped the ball. Correct, Overthoughts. Correct. Do we have an update for the young lady you did the live about early? As of right now, let me double check. I still haven't heard from any of her family members that I reached out to. As of right now, I didn't receive any messages. Let me see. But I will follow up tomorrow. As of right now, no updates on the Alana case from earlier. CPS seems like a big trafficking ring, only the legal way. I can bet you there's not a CPS worker that has family. Salute Deuce. Salute Deuce. Let me see. Wait a minute. Let me check my email. Kimani was alive when they found her. No updates, y'all. No updates. I appreciate everybody for pulling up. Salute. I'll see everybody tomorrow. I will leave the chat running and y'all can hang around. Make sure y'all subscribe to my Smoothie Talk with Shank. Make sure y'all subscribe to my Smoothie Talk with Shank. I just hope and pray that Kimani didn't suffer. Yeah, I hope so too. I pray and hope that she didn't suffer. Good night, Shannon. What can we do to get on CPS? That's a good question, Lisa. Anybody have any suggestions on how to get on CPS and make a difference with CPS? Anybody got any thoughts? That's the first. Go look up the Trezell and Jacqueline West case. You'll see how corrupt CPS is. I work in mental health, and they will remove the person out of them till the investigation is over. Maybe they need to do the same with the children because CPS sucks. Lisa says, love you, Shank. Glad I caught you live. Love you too, Lisa. Appreciate you for pulling up. Yes, she passed away shortly after they found her. Clown TV says the Attorney General. Attorney General. Salute, Lady Leo. I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and it's bad, bad. Wow. Wow, y'all. Virtuous says, wow. Salute, Cole. Become a CPS worker and help. We need people that really care about kids. I bet that will make a difference, Shannon. If many of us would become a CPS worker, I think that would help. So are you saying she did suffer? I don't know. CPS is just like the people they investigate, just there for the check. Salute, Queena. I hope I pronounce your name right, Queen. Y'all got to get some regular names that I can pronounce. But salute, Queen. Appreciate you for pulling up. Salute, Jennifer. I'm going to school right now. You got to have a bachelor's degree. The nerve. Wow. A bachelor's degree and they still can't get it right. Still can't get things right. No, but that's okay. Don't feel bad. I mess up everybody's name that's not a regular name. So I'm going to just call you Washington. That's easy. Salute, Washington. Everybody give Washington a warm welcome. I know this is your first time. It's, Kiana. Ain't this some ish? Ain't this some ish? Why in the hell do you spell your name Kiana with a Q? You know that's not how you spell Kiana. But appreciate that for breaking it down for me, Shannon. Appreciate that. What do you see when you look at Brittany? That's another demonstration, April, that they find Kimani's phone. That will rule out if she called him because she was scared. Yes, that's it. Kiana. All right, I remember Kiana. The State's Department of Human Services or Health and Human Services. Ask my mama. All right, I'm going to ask your mama. Mama Kiana, why did you spell your daughter's name with a Q and an I? Matter of fact, the whole goddamn spelling is jacked up, Mama Kiana. Shank, she didn't name herself. I know. See, like Lisa. See how easy it is for me to pronounce Lisa? Maybe these two grandmas are friends. Like Clown TV Network. Start complaining to the Congress. Like Milky Way Girl. That's the Chinese pronunciation of, here we go. Here we go. Like this name. I got to pronounce Deuce. Muff Deuce. Deuce. I know someone from the Chi that spells it the same way. So y'all got me laughing now. Y'all trying to keep me up, ain't y'all? I know. See, y'all think I'm Miss Parker. Y'all want Shank Rock to stay up all night with y'all, don't you? Corey says, Shank, you a mess. Victoria says, I'm dead. See, that's how y'all get Miss Parker to stay up all night. Y'all get Miss Parker to start laughing. Yeah. Nah. Somebody pronounce this name for me. Lord have mercy, they got me up here laughing. CPS fumbled the ball real bad with the little boy, Gabriel Hernandez, in California. The story is on Netflix, and it's very heartbreaking. Salute, Yvette. See, like Yvette. See, that's an easy name. It's Yvette, even though I never understood why there's a Y. Why is there a Y in the beginning of Yvette? But I can pronounce Yvette. Somebody explain to me why there's a Y. Why is the Y silent? You ain't staying up to 5 a.m. Hell no. I know I can't go to 5. I used to could do all-nighters. Laughing out loud. Some people can't pronounce my name either. I got your name. Chandra. Watch this. Chandra. I bet I pronounced that right. Chandra. Watch this. Yeah, I'm sleepy, Shannon. Sad story, Lord. Ma like mama of Deuce. Mama. What in the hell? Ma of Deuce. All right. Ma of Deuce. Miss Parker covered that story on Gabriel. Ma of Deuce. My name is pronounced Yvette. Huh? Yvette. Wow. See, I messed up Yvette name. It's Yvette. Well, because most people name Yvette spell it Y-V. I'm gonna leave that alone. Shannon says, Shank, you sleep. I'm sleepy as hell. I usually be in the bed by this time, y'all. My old bones just can't take it no more. But I know what you mean. It is weird for Yvette. Lisa says, third shift life. I told y'all, I got it. Chandra, I got it. It ain't funny, Jennifer. It ain't funny. Yep, they sure do. My mama just felt creative. Ain't this some ish? So your mama felt being creative, right? I get it. I get it. Chan says, laughing out loud. Shannon says, good night, y'all. I can't take Shank in his accent. I'm trying to get out of here, but y'all keep laughing. Y'all won't let me go. Shank, the first 5 minutes had me bawling in tears. Yeah. But one thing we do over here, we laugh together and we cry together. Shank, we work third shift. I see. Salute, Natalie. I'm third shift too, Lisa. You and Miss Parker both are so funny. Capricorn Chronicles says good night. Now, Capricorn Chronicles and Chin, they remember when we used to do all-nighters over here. We used to go from 10 p.m., 8 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. Can't do it no more, though. Good night, Capricorn. I'm on second. Chin says right. Capricorn Chronicles, remember? I fall asleep. People will be like, where's Shank at? This how y'all will know when I fall asleep. If I ever turn my camera off for more than 10 minutes, I'm asleep. So for future reference, when y'all see that for 10 minutes, that means I'm asleep. Sure do, the good old days. Where your hot dog crew at? I don't know. My hot dog crews then turned to tacos, and ever since they turned to tacos, they just abandoned Shank. I say, God damn, where everybody at? They went from throwing up the hot dogs to throwing up tacos to just completely throwing up nothing. You need to take a smoothie that keeps you up. We need an all-nighter. I'm going to get a smoothie. You right, Capricorn Crown. Make sure y'all subscribe to my Smoothie Talk channel. Smoothie Talk with Shank. Chin or Capricorn Chronicles, drop my Smoothie Talk with Shank link down there in the chat. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Smoothie Talk with Shank. I just woke up to catch the live. I'm tired too, but I had to get down here. Oh, you just woke up. I feel you, Jennifer. I feel you. Shank Thomas Parker, hope she feel better soon. Greatly missed. I sure will. I will fall asleep, then wake up, listen, go back to sleep. Remember, it'd be like about 8 people on the panel with me. Deep. What I don't understand is why CPS isn't being held accountable for stuff like this when there are numerous reports of abuse and they do nothing to help these kids. That's facts. That's facts, y'all. Positive is on vacation. She serves the food. The next time y'all see Positive Vibes, tell Positive Vibes, Shank Rock said, get your funky ass back in this chat. Positive Vibes been on vacation for a long ass time. So when y'all see Positive Vibes, tell Positive Vibes, Shank said, get your funky ass back in the chat. You need candy, Shank. Now, I can't do the candy, Lady Leo. I can't do that candy. Tori Wondrous dropping up the emojis. I see you, Tori. Miss Parker had me doing doubles. Yeah, Miss Parker, get well soon. Somebody put an APP out on Miss Parker. Get well soon, Miss Parker. Because they expecting Shank Rock to stay up all night with their asses. I'm a night shifter. I'm looking for Miss Parker, Miss Parker. Tammy says, I'm on first. Good night, y'all. I had to get up really early. Good night, Tammy. See, why everybody can't be like Tammy? Salute, Krisha. Did I pronounce your name right, Krisha? Is it Krisha or Krisha? CPS wants the blame to be on legal parents. Correct. Correct. Yep, 5-hour lives. What happened to Miss Parker? Miss Parker is under the weather. Miss Parker is not feeling well. She's not feeling well. She told me to tell everybody she love y'all and she hope to see y'all soon. All right? Get well, Miss Parker. I'll let her know. Tracy used to be on them all-nighters. Remember the all-nighters, Tracy? Having kids, third is easier. You didn't say it right. You supposed to say with the funky. Yeah. Yeah, see, y'all got me laughing, Kenyatta. You got me laughing. Y'all think y'all gonna keep me up all night. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Smoothie Talk with Shank channel that Chen just dropped. Chen just dropped the link. No placement funds. Miss Parker sitting back cooking. She's coming back like Debo on Friday. Hey, Miss Parker. Okay, get well soon. Yes, the all-nighters. Yes. Yes. Look, y'all, in a minute, I'm going to fall asleep on y'all. I'm going to be up here dozing off. I'm gonna go to a commercial break, and if I ain't sleepy, I'll hang out with y'all. Let's go to a commercial break. Appreciate that compliment, Mercedes. CH says, in my prayers, Miss Parker, get well soon. Love you. I'm gonna go to a commercial break, y'all. Then I might come back. There, that got a main chick and a side chick. Back in the days, you used to have to worry about the side chick popping all up at your job, stalking you when you go home, worrying about the side chick calling the house, worrying about the side chick posting pictures of y'all on social media. Well, guess what, fellas? You ain't got to worry about the side chick. I'm going to put some almond milk in it. Fellas, you ain't got to worry about the side chick acting up. You got to worry about, these my chia seeds. You got to worry about your main chick taking your side chick from you. All right, y'all. Let's let it grind. Delicious. That's probably the best smoothie that I've made thus far. I'd like to place an order. Yeah. Hey, let me get a chicken box and a half and half. All right, good looking out. I'd like to place an order. Yeah. Hey, let me get a chicken box and a half and half. All right, good looking out. A chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes. But before we get started with this demonstration, let me read my copyright. Younger females like older men. So my smoothie is going to consist of switching lanes. A chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes. When I'm switching lanes. A chicken box, a half and half when I'm switching lanes.
to this game like a sinner with a prayer. With only one dream to be the world's famous player. The life that we live sometimes ain't always right. I see you need a father figure to put structure in your life. You got a lot of hood in you, so you call yourself a shit. But beneath it all, I see a sexy head chick who's just looking for a real one who got it ish together. An inner that can lead so you can love forever. Money ain't an issue cause you got your own stacks. Let me make you feel important and always have your back. I could tell by your hate that you had a bad day. Let me wipe your tears and tell you everything'll be okay. Now your friends gon' hate and tell you I'm a bad man. Don't let the messiest war keep you from a good thing. It's a king and queen thing, a new gang. You know how I roll, it's $1 million thing.